Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see. Maybe hit like and subscribe, and I would love to know what you like to stitch. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for also pressing play. I so appreciate you taking the time to come hang out with me today or whatever day it is for you that you watch. And we get to talk cross stitch. So exciting. I love it. I love talking cross stitch, and Mo loves that I talk cross stitch with you. So that way he doesn't hear me going on about it all the time. So thank you for being here. I have some good number of projects. We went and we did the split over between August and September. So we are officially into September now. That is new challenges, which is so much fun. I love doing the games and the challenges. I know they're not for everybody, but I have fun with it. And honestly, it gives me a chance to use all of my colored markers and pencils and make things pretty with paper. So that's part of half the fun for me as well. So there's two levels to it, the stitching and the actual kind of paper crafting. So I got some of that to talk about. I have one start that I'll show you at the very end. No finishes this time, but that's okay. I had that rush of finishes in the middle of the summer, and so now we're just kind of slowly working on projects and getting them where we need to go. So, maybe at some point near the end of the year, I might have a rush of finishes again. We'll see. Plus, there'll be some smalls that'll be started, like really smalls that can be started and finished and all of that fun stuff too. So those will be coming, and I'll have some of that as well. But I am more of a process stitcher, so if they get finished, they get finished. If they don't, oh well, I've enjoyed the journey as it goes. All right, so let's get started with projects though. First off, I teased you last week. I told you I was going to change up my Whip into Shape project. Whip into Shape is a kind of a challenge. Well, it is a challenge, not kind of, that was created by Andrew, the runner stitcher. I'm going to start writing down my names here so I know to link everybody. Andrew is a runner as well as a cross stitcher, and he originally created this challenge, for, as many of you know, for the marathon he had been planning to run at the end of August. Life changed those plans, and I think he was still planning on running the New York Marathon in November. So we've kind of just rolled this challenge into continuing to do it until November. And I am doing it that for every mile that Andrew runs, I do 10 stitches. If I go over, great. In fact, this past Sunday was the marathon Sunday, so it would have been when he had been running. And so that was 262 stitches. And I think I got 500 stitches that day because I was bound and determined to finish one area of my project. And I did it. So I was so excited. I won't carry those stitches over. That was just, you know what? That was a day that would have been a huge challenge running. So why not give myself a huge challenge stitching? I think I've got the easier end of it. That's for sure. I know I do. All right, so this is a digital project. Let me show you. I put aside Samhain and Salem because I wasn't feeling the call to try to get a finish as much as I am on this one. Can I do it by the end of this year? Maybe. I'm having trouble visualizing how many stitches there truly are because I'm doing it with a paper pattern, but it is Spring Quaker from Lila Studio. So this is my new Whip into Shape piece. I thought it would be kind of cool. I'm stitching it. I started it on Marathon Day in August, and then I will continue through Marathon Day in November. So it will go from marathon to marathon. And the original piece I started, if you weren't with me for the first part of the challenge, I did finish. So maybe there's hope for this one yet. All right, I put something else on a board. I probably could have put this on the other side. Forgot, so we'll just hold it up. Look at this. This is Spring Quaker by Lila Studio. Now mine will look very different than the original. The first thing in the original that caught me was the middle pattern, the middle panel there, the one that I'm currently working on. And I just thought that was so beautiful. And then I don't know if then I saw Summer Quaker and I re-looked at this one and I loved it. But spring to me means new growth. And all of the Quakers and the pieces were brown. And that kind of made me sad to think about that for spring. So I changed up the colors to various greens. You know, our leaves are coming, our flowers are budding, and it's just a beautiful time of year. for new outdoor kind of growth. And I felt like I wanted my project to reflect that. This is 18 count rose hips from Under the Sea fabrics. That's it in its entirety. I know I have one of my rabbits, my bunnies, needs a carrot. And then I need to decide what to do. In this pattern, I believe this is where you could put initials. I'm just going to pick one of the motifs and do that. I just haven't done it because I've been so focused on the center. So I'm going to do a fold here on either side. And that's what I worked on Marathon Day. And my goal was to get this basket finished at the bottom. Again, changed these colors. After I had changed some of these other things, I did change this as well because it wasn't quite matching my fabric and the other colors that I had. So that did undergo a slight change, as did the words. I thought I had the words done. I would have finished that too, but oops. The last time I had picked this up, I did a little bit in here because I was kind of looking for something different and getting that center part started, but I figured this would be a good, I'm just going to bring this forward so I can see it better. This would have been a good, like, just keep at it kind of thing. And so that's what I did. Now this is, what I did was mostly the lighter brown. There was a little bit over here already done. All that was over 500 stitches. Now I had already done all of the darker brown. So you can see that this bottom section is over 1,000 stitches because it's been taking me ages, probably 3 of my kind of month breaks of 500 to get that done. So I'm so excited because now it is done. I have this little bit of the words to go, and then the center piece is where I can really focus on. And I just love the flowers in the middle of it. And then you have houses. So that should go pretty good. But I haven't stitched on this since Sunday. Andrew has run since then. It took me a minute to see that the tab, I'm not very good with things like spreadsheets and all of that because I do everything on paper. As much as I can on paper, I do, because I just like to do it and make it pretty. But there was a tab at the bottom that Andrew has designated. And so finally, once I figured that out, everything was good. Now I know where to go and look to catch his miles now for this one. And I will work on this weekend, I think. What I was doing for the most part was I was almost always on the weekend taking the numbers that he had run during the week and then did them as one big kind of block of stitching. And except for the week of the marathon, I kind of did up to, so that way I just had marathon stitching. And that's probably, when we get there, that's probably what I would do again so that I could designate Marathon Day as a separate day. All right, so that was the first one, and that is my whip into shape piece. Second, this month, Jen from Jen's Fiberweb, let me write down Jen's name, is doing an owl sal stitch along, and I'm pulling out my pieces that I do have already started, as well as, oops, sorry, I think I just hit you. Let me move my table here a little bit so we don't hit you again. And let me move over a little bit. I have 2 that have owls on them that are current projects. And then I know there's at least one, hopefully more, that I also start as well. And we'll see, maybe I get something finished and fully finish it as well. This was one of my current whips. It is You Got This. Yeah. From the Artsy Housewife. And I know she has another one. I think it's Una Owl. And I'm pretty sure I saw Jen on Instagram start that. So that's fun. That's a really cute one as well. I envisioned a little bit kind of a brighter fabric for this one, especially with those colors. And I am so happy with what I chose. The more I do of it, the more I really like it. So here it is. This is 18 count Modest May. Let me do a little bit more here so you get a chance to see more along the side. There we go. From those missing stitches. This week, it's so funny because I don't even try it, but when I pick projects, sometimes it's for challenges or games. Sometimes it's just because I darn well feel like stitching on that. And it's sometimes when I'm doing my notes, I'm like, oh, This week is a To Die For week. This week is a Fabrics by Stephanie week. This week is a Those Missing Stitches week. I have quite a few of Lynn's fabrics to show you. Now, I am using DMC for the majority of this piece. I'm using two colors, and they are both in the mug. One is a Stitchy Stuff Coat, and that's this one. You can see we do have some variegation there. I'm not trying to get lots of it, just whatever shows up by doing it with the loop start and the whole bit. So that's showing up really nicely. And then here, this is a Pirate and Robin. I can't remember what it's called now. If I remember, I will put all of these in the description box below. There's not a ton of variegation on this one. Pirate and Robin has some. They run the gamut from very lightly variegated to whoo, out there. And I generally like the very lightly variegated ones. And so I like this, and I do like Pirate and Robin flosses. So that worked out well. And I used similar colors to what was called for. All of this, though, is all going to be DMC. This time around, I had already known that this color would work. So for this time around, I did all of the color of that variegated, and then I did the center of the mug as well. You know, the coffee with a little bit of a, or we could say it's a dark tea. I do drink decaf coffee once in a while, but you know, I am a tea fiend. I do love my tea. So super exciting because that's done. I have almost this border done, which will make, once I get that part done, the rest of this mug easily done. Most of what I have to do is over here still. That will be quick. I am going to do the words. I think I do like that kind of concept, like you got this, kind of you can do it attitude. So because I did think at one point I was just going to do the mug completely solid. And then I kind of decided against that. But I love it. It's looking so cute. So Jen's hashtag is #gonna be owl right. And if you watch Sal, the word Sal at the end, if you watch Jen's videos, especially when I think there's one that's hashtag that, and she explains the origin of the hashtag and then her owl wall, which is going to be so amazing. I would encourage you to go watch and maybe stitch some owls in support of Jen. So there's more planned this month on that. There we go. So that is my You Got This owl. And I do have a page in the book for owl starts, whips, and hopefully some full finishes. Now, this next one is one of those pieces that I just felt like it. There is no rhyme or reason why I picked it. It wasn't part of a game. I was flipping through the projects, and I said, you know what? I feel like doing some of this. And that is a Shack on the Shore from Flossibilities. I did start this with several friends. I know Mary, right? Mary, you're doing it. Mary from Mary's Stitching Corner. Let me write down Mary. Lee from Sticks, Strings, and Other Things. And Karen, the Stitching Owl. Those are the three I know off the top of my head. I cannot remember if there was anybody else that was stitching this one. I know several people are doing Cabin in the Woods or have done it. I don't think I'll do that one, and I know there is another one. This one is just what got me. I live in a beach town, so anything beachy usually can hook me, right? And I've not done, I think this might be my first Flossibilities. So that's exciting. And there it is so far. I know. It doesn't look like I did much, but I did, I swear. Sometimes when I have fabric like this, I don't necessarily do the clouds and whatnot, but I felt like it worked on this piece. I just have a little bit more to do on this. So I did all of the cloud there. I did some finishing on this. I did over here. And then I filled in some white stitch. I did a lot of white stitching this time around because this was white with a light blue and then all of this white around here, around the actual shack. I figure I'm going to go back and forth, try to get some border done, then do some fun inside, then do some border. I do plan on changing the color of the anchor. I want to make it more of a gray, but I do want to make sure I honor this color scheme. Uh, it is a definite, it is a, think of a faded summer scene. That's kind of where the color scheme goes as opposed to your bright summer colors. And it's so funny because with the picture, I didn't necessarily, it just all worked that way. And it wasn't until I picked the flosses and started stitching that I realized that was the case. I was like, huh, this is different than what I would normally do, but I kind of like the difference. So I kept with it rather than trying to change up the colors. I think it'll be fun. This is 18 Count Ice Crystals by Fabrics by Stephanie. But that was a roundabout way to say that I can't just willy-nilly pick a gray. I want to make sure it's a gray that really kind of works with the whole scheme of the flosses. This will obviously take time, and that's okay. There's no rush. It'll get done when it gets done. I am not necessarily a seasonal stitcher, so I could, in the month of September, stitch all 4 seasons, throw in a few extra holidays, and call it a day. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter to me. If I feel like stitching the project, then I just stitch it. This next piece, I brought it out for I Spy. I was finishing up August, and ironically enough, I kind of left it to the end because it was so open-ended. It was a project of my choice. Basically, that was the I Spy prompt. If you're new, I Spy is a game that I run, and I pick 10 prompts. You don't have to do all 10. If you want to play around with maybe 3 or 4 or half or whatever, you just find things on your project that fit the prompts. Well, this one was a piece of your choice, and I just love this one. There's something about, this is Boomerang Stitches. It's called Ruby-Throated Hummingbirds. There's something about Boomerang. She has a very, almost geometric, it's probably not the right use of the word, kind of frame, even though we have all sorts of movement with this piece. But there's something about it that my brain, her patterns, my brain sees them that way, and my brain finds them very pleasing. This is, I only have 2 so far. I have 2 actually on the go, this one and Snack-O-Lantern. And so I decided I wanted to get some more done on this. I started this one, what was the, I think it was Spring Mingle, I think, of the Lindy Stitches, because I did not do the Midsummer one. Oh, and the one from in September, there's one in September, isn't there? So that's coming up. But I started it then, and I just really so enjoyed it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to keep stitching on it. And I do love my color choice. This is 18 Count Patience from Millennial Fabrics, and it really makes the colors pop. So I'm so pleased. It's as I do. I'm an Aida stitcher. I love it. I don't see any need to try any others because I enjoy what I do. So why change up something that I enjoy? And it's a very good Aida feel. I am an in-hand stitcher, and I do find this one really easy to use as an in-hand stitcher. It's my only Millennial Fabrics, but we'll see. There always could be more in the future. You know, when I get a bug in my ear to start placing an order. And I think Millennial goes to quite a few events, so I'm sure a lot of you have seen them if you go to different events. I concentrated all on, I'm trying to get this first hummingbird. Let me see. Yeah, the first hummingbird done. There's a beautiful pattern here on the wing. All of this I had to stitch, so I only had this part of the wing. I did all of that horizontal part, and now I'm doing more of the vertical, you know, diagonal vertical part over here. And I think with some of the colors, I added a little bit here as well. It still has to fill out a few more colors, so this is not done down here. But the next time I pick it up, I may do and just finish out this hummingbird. And then I'm thinking I might try to come down here, because then this, well, maybe finish the greenery and save the second hummingbird for the very end, because they are just beautiful. Isn't that her color? These are all her colors. I am not changing anything. I don't see the need to. It's beautiful. And just really such a joy. And I have this in Pattern Keeper. I was able to put it in quite easily, and it makes it, especially with the design on the wings there, it makes it quite easy to follow. So I'm really enjoying that one. And that one will just get pulled out whenever I just feel like pulling things out, to be honest with you, because it's so pretty. Alrighty, before I go on any longer, I want to show you this we have September. We've started a new month, so I remembered to pull out my Country Cottage Needleworks September, what are they called? Monthly, I can't remember, the monthly cottages, whatever they're called. So I have 1 month left of stitch. I think it's April. I'm halfway through, and April and March have to be fully finished. So that'll get done before next year so I can show them. And somebody did ask me, I forgot to last week tell you what was behind me. This piece here, can't remember what it's, I'm sure the name has the word crab in it somewhere, right? This is from Cosette Go-Go. I stitched that a while ago. In fact, they both have the same sort of pattern paper, which is a fade from dark to light. So that was perfect for like beach scenes, because I figured this is like the water going up to the sky. So that's Cosette Go-Go. And this one I know is called Coastal Cola. Well, I'm 99% sure that's what it's called. And this is from, I believe, Silver Creek Samplers. And as soon as I saw the pattern and I saw this fabric, I said, those must go together. And the only change I think I did, Silver Creek, yes, because Silver Creek likes to put the year in them, like when she puts things out. And obviously it was a different year, and I really didn't feel like charting it as such. So I just filled it in with, I think it was over here in the sand area. So I just filled it in with some extra sand. Same sort of idea with the pattern paper. So these two actually, I think in the scrapbook, maybe. No, I don't know if they do actually go side by side. They might not. But those are those. So sorry about not mentioning what they were last week. Thank you for asking just to remind me. But new month. So now we're going to start to see fall colors. And I do have, when I pulled out some of the fall stuff, I did also pull out some Halloween, because I figure why not at this point, right? Enjoy it for a couple months. Alrighty. Next piece. Oh, I don't need my pictures for this. It is a paper pattern. This one here, I actually pulled out to do one more categories prompt for August in Whip Warriors, which is a closed challenge group. It will open in the end of November-ish. This is Carolyn's Balloons Spring. So categories, the letters were B and for some reason I want to say L. Let me look real quick here. Yes. And one of the yearly prompts is transportation. Well, you can get around in balloons if you really needed to, I suppose. And I'm not gonna lie, I have stalled on these a bit. I have autumn and winter done. I have spring and summer to finish, and I just need to find ways to bring them out because I'd like to see them finished. And I'm waiting, and I'll do them all as a collection in the scrapbook. So here we go. This is where I am. This is, and actually this is probably, yeah, I have a lot of extra fabric here. I didn't count that very well. This is the edge. There'll be another big balloon, and you don't, it's, if you see here, do you see how, actually it goes a little bit farther, but it doesn't, it'll cut off like it's the end. So it will go maybe a little bit farther, so maybe it won't look so silly. Well, that'll get cut down anyway. But this is 18 count. It's Car Wash from Fortnight Fabrics. Fortnight no longer hand dyes fabrics, but you might find them on the secondary market or one of the Facebook pages that do de-stash sort of thing. I did autumn in this fabric as well, and then spring, summer and winter are in the same fabric as well. And I did this entire balloon. That was the prompt there. And then I started this one. I know I could continue to do here the kind of little town, but that area is pretty easy because it's block stitching with windows and doors with a little bit of tree. But these can be tricky. I mean, look at how beautiful that is. But that was accounting. I had a few mistakes that I had to take out because obviously everything matches, right? A lot of counting. This one is hard to see on the camera, but you can see it in person. So I figured I want to just get that one done. And then the next one I think might be, I don't know if it's all one color. It kind of looks like it. And then I do have, there's like bumblebees. One, two, oh, there's a whole bunch of bumblebees like flying around, and maybe another butterfly or two that I have up there. But next time I might try to kind of get this done, and then all I'd have is this kind of easy part plus all the little bits. But I'm really pleased because there was the two colors, but this is on a page break, which of course is always a challenge when you're doing with paper. And I never think to like cut them apart and tape them, which I should, but then that just makes it a big giant piece. And I try to keep them 8.5 by 11. So there was a bit of a slowness with that, doing that. But once it went going, I think I did okay. And then just that third color for the base of the balloon. So there we go. I do actually think this one is much closer to a finish than summer. There's quite a bit left to do of the summer one. So I might end up focusing just on this one and then just having that one left to do in the end. Okay, my full coverage piece, I did put aside Mini Watching the World Go By. I thoroughly enjoyed it all of August, but I wanted to get some other pieces also worked on. So I figured let's jump in and do another one. I very much enjoyed this past week, and so I probably will do it another week. I got almost 1,000 stitches on it this week-ish, maybe not quite, and so I'm really pleased with that, and I figure one more week, it'll be good. I do usually my full coverage stitching after dinner at night because I have trouble seeing patterns at night, like the regular paper patterns. My eyes just have trouble delineating, even if it's a good black and white. And so I use my pattern keeper at night, most definitely. And so I figure it's good for full coverage. So I pulled out Mini Paris Morning. This is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. It is artwork by Uliana Babenko. And I was originally drawn to these because of the cute little doggy. Reminds me of our Shamrock, who we lost in 2022. So now we'll always have a little Shamrock in pieces. I am using this for I Spy. One of the prompts was something you'd see in a history book. And if you look behind her, we have the Eiffel Tower, and you would see the Eiffel Tower in a history book. What's really funny is I was watching Lisa and Jenny. They are the Shady Trees. Let me write down Shady Trees, Stitchers. And they do a monthly wrap up. And that's when they also will go through challenges in Whip Warriors. They do my I Spy, and they do a couple other groups. And they go through all the different challenges and say what they, give you some ideas. So, for example, categories this month is hard. It's I and J. Okay, so this, you can see all the way over here. And so they try to kind of brainstorm some ideas for you. So if you're stuck on challenges, it is a good resource, and they come out monthly with that challenge chat along now with their stitching. So I'll link them. But Jenny had said she had a Paris piece, and the Eiffel Tower she was going to use for history. And I was talking back to her on the and said, I am doing that too. Great minds think alike. So this is it in a nutshell. That's the 3 corners you can see. But I'm going to come up close because I didn't do anything down there. Up here, I went all over. I did try to give myself challenges to start filling in confetti. If I bring it up, you can see, do you see how there's still some confetti holes there? I started stitching this one before I had Pattern Keeper. I was using a paper pattern, which obviously is much harder, especially when there's confetti. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Now that I have Pattern Keeper, and if I start pieces, it's not like I'm filling in a page. And if there's a piece of confetti that might only have a couple of stitches, but I know it's going to be somewhere else, I skip it and I wait. And then sometimes I'll go back and maybe fill in. But I'm never going to be one of those really cool stitchers that you will see each page being filled in as you go, because that just doesn't, it's not the process that works for me. So there'll always be some confetti. But I really worked hard to get some of that filled in. I continued. I did quite a bit over, I think it's over here. So I filled in, some of it's white, so it's hard to see. I did a bunch of fill in plus confetti over here. I did some more of the sky, and then I did come over here. I filled in, I think there's, do you see up top? There's one little stray, and then there's a little bit up here. But there was other confetti that all got filled in, and then I've got to start. I still have quite a bit of pink here. This side, the curtain is pretty much with some stray colors of confetti, maybe. Yeah, over here there's a little bit. But I might pick one of those colors and then come over here, because obviously you can see this curtain is going to come down. Let me look at the pattern real quick. Oh yeah, so this curtain comes all the way down to the ground. Actually, it kind of ties in with the tie back, and then it comes out a little bit. So there'll be quite a bit. What was really cool though was I was working here, and as I was looking at the pattern, you could see her head starts around here somewhere. So I'm getting ready to start her a little bit once I do some of the stitching here. So my full coverage, I do 18 count, 2 strands over 1, full cross. Yeah, I said that like there was something else to say. No, I don't, there's so many ways to do it, and I like that way, and I just figure I'm just going to keep running with it. I know a lot of people like half stitches. I've never tried that, and I do like this. So I also keep telling myself I'm going to try 20 count or 25 count, which there's a plan coming up that you would think I'd have done. I would say I'm going to try 25 count, but I am not trying it on a ginormous full coverage piece. So you're gonna laugh at me, but there's a really large piece coming up that I'm going to be starting, and I'm going to do it on 18 count. I'm just going to go with what I know at this point. Alrighty, so next, we're getting there. September, October, and then back to that dreaded July. This is September's Morning Glory, and it is from Cottage Garden Samplings. It is part of their Garden Journal series. So that's what it will look like. I'm actually quite pleased with my progress this week. I had the letter A, and that was it. So I did all of the words. I did the acorn, and I started the squirrel. So I thought that was pretty good, actually. You'll see here in the original, it's 2 different colors. If you've been following along, you know, but if you're new, you wouldn't, that almost all of them, I decided not to do that. I'm either doing a solid color, maybe a variegated floss. October's the only one, it's orange and black, and in the end, I decided to keep that. But I think none of the other ones have the 2 different colors. I'd have to go back. When they're all done, I'll show you them, and then they're all going to go as a collection in the scrapbook. This is 18 count Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I don't know, I kind of liked doing get the squirrels done next time when I work on this. It seems like I always seem to wait for the flowers to be done. I might do some more of the greenery though. That might be pretty, and then continue to work. There's only 3 purple flowers, so we're almost done with the purple flowers. And then there's mostly just 4 blue ones. Then there's a little kind of bud of a blue one. So there'll be a bit more. And down here, there's a large blue flower. So it's still quite a bit to do, but we are only it's only September 5th. So we still have quite a bit of time to go with that. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that will get done in the month of September. And then we will have very little left to do. All right, so the next 3 that I've done, because I'm not showing you yesterday's piece because I had enough to show you. There's 13 projects here. Like, you'll be bored if I keep showing you projects. I am doing AB Singo, which is hosted and figured, it was all designed by Monthly Magazine, the Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge. And I do list in the description box below the different challenge groups and stuff and everything that I mentioned. Carolyn Zook, C Zook Stitch, and Robin Bird's Eye Stitches are the 2 creators of that group, and come up with all sorts of different challenges every month in that group. I was gonna say in that book, but in that group. My mind was thinking that originally, I think a lot of what they did, because it's Magazine Monthly, is they wanted to really tap into their magazine pieces. But they have opened it up quite a bit to any piece. You know, sometimes with some of the challenges, they do designate maybe a magazine piece. But for the most part, you can do anything. And they themselves do a mix, right? It's not just magazine pieces that they do. So I did it last year, AB Singo. I do their Bringo in January, and I just adore them, and just have fun with them. And I like the kind of, I've not done Whip Go, which is a bingo challenge as well, which is Jessie Marie created that. And I know so many people do it. I don't know if it's because it's the year long, and I like the satisfaction of getting a blackout on my bingo board in the month rather than waiting the whole year. But they changed it this year. In the spring, they did something called Springo, and it's a 35 square board. And I decided not to participate in that one. And they decided to do AB single this year, very similar with the 35 squares. So that means you don't get a blackout in the course of the month. And I love completing things and making them look pretty and all of that. So I decided to go back to last year's prompt way of doing it. And so I created my bingo board. It's AB single. And I did it with 25 letters. I didn't do Z because I knew I'd probably do the word Zephyr again, and that's my balloons. So I figured, I'll just skip that one. And I did every other letter besides that. And I wrote down all the letters in the alphabet on a little piece of cardstock, and I threw them in a bowl, and I just picked them each day. And so I've done 3 that I'm going to show you. Yesterday was B, but I want to do some more on that. I didn't get a ton, so I had too much to show you this week, and 2, I also want to get some more done before you see it. I'm kind of doing some outlining, so I'm kind of excited to see what I can do with that. And then today, the letter P I pulled right before I started filming. So ironically, letter P is also a I Spy prompt. So I will probably double dip the challenges, and whatever I do enough. I usually do 200 that I try to get for I Spy. This, I'm trying to get a minimum of 100. If I can do a little bit more, great. And I have been. So that way I can kind of stack some challenges and try to get some extra work done in it. So you'll see that stuff next week. But the first letter that was chosen was C. And these are different than what they're choosing. So if you're doing it through them, my letters will be completely different because I am just doing it this way with the 25. And I fully intend, let me go back, I fully intend to have a blackout like I did with Bringo. And I was able to do it all. And I get to color it in, and it just looks so pretty. So that's my plan with this. So the first one was C. And I pulled out Carriage House Sampling, so that's the C, sampler of the C. And I had recently just started this, and I wanted to get another week's worth of work on it. It's not a huge amount, but this is actually a pretty fast stitch. So I think if you are looking to stitch this, I think you'd find it's a pretty fast one. I am doing several color changes, and once I iron that all out, probably when it's close to a finish, I will give my changes as I'm working on it. Some of the pieces I haven't gotten to yet that I've thought about changes for. Now, September. September is one of the main things that you'll hear a lot of floss tubers talk about is Sampler September. I don't know how many years it's been going on now. If you watch Kim, Contented Needleworker Kim, I'm going to write Kim down. She actually, I want to say it was early this week, she came out with a video. And she talked about, well, it had to be, right? Because September just started on Monday. She talked about, there's Sampler September, which is any samplers, right? And then there's one, I don't know how the words go, but there's the word soiree in there. And she talks about who started that. And I want to say that's reproduction samplers, which I don't stitch. I enjoy watching others stitch them, but they're just not my jam. And so then that, then there's the question, well, what exactly do you count as a sampler? And, letters, motifs, whatever kind of thing. The way I look at it is if the designer has called it a sampler, then I'm running with it. It's part of my Sampler September, or something like a Long Dog sampler. So is everything that Long Dog charts, are they all considered samplers? I don't have one going right now, but that's a question. I'd be curious. I kind of tried to look up definition of sampler, and I mean, you get a whole bunch of things. So I'm just going to go with if the designer has called it a sampler, I'm calling it a sampler, and I'm going to see how many of those that I have in my WIP list, plus potential starts, which you'll see one here at the end, that I can do. So this is called Sampler of the C. So this would be for Sampler September. And this is 18 count. That was a long way to say what I'm doing here. Go watch Kim, though, because she, besides having beautiful projects, talks about some of that and the people involved in it a little bit better than I. Much better than I. This is 18 count Captivating Cosette from Those Missing Stitches. I thought it kind of invoked a little bit of like a kind of sandy, beachy vibe. you know, maybe it's a little bit browner than some of you would consider beachy, but I kind of liked it, and I really liked the colors on it. So that's what I went with. I did EF and part of G. There's going to be a seagull here. I did this entire row across. I started the lighthouse. I am changing all the colors in the lighthouse, I believe. And then there's a little, what I believe is a moon. It kind of ghosts in a little bit. It is yellow. In the chart here, it's kind of a really bright orange. Do you see it up here? It's like 606 or 660, I don't remember. And I kind of didn't want that. I didn't really want that to be a focal point. So I'm okay with it blending in. Like I'm looking at it here, and you're gonna have the nice big lighthouse right here that's gonna draw your eye, which is what I want to draw your eye, more than that little kind of half moon. So I'm pleased with the progress. Like I said, again, it's a very easy, quick stitch. The seagull, I just ran out of time because the seagull is two colors except for the eye and the beak are like 2 single stitches or something or other. So that will be very quick. And then I will get going and starting on the next row. I might have some fun, throw in the lighthouse here, and then kind of do some more of the letters. But it's a very enjoyable stitch if you've considered it. I had planned to do it last August, ran out of time, too much to stitch, right? And so I kind of said to myself, I really want to start it this year because I really do like it. That might be one that I could even see potentially putting up in my craft room here. Although I think it would be kind of fun to scrapbook it with some of those fun pattern papers as well too. So we'll see. I might have a whole nautical summer book at some point, which I think would be so much fun since I love stitching that stuff. Okay, so that was the letter C. Then I pulled the letter A. I have a surprisingly number of pieces that start with the letter A. Partly, I guess, because of the word autumn. But I actually went with Arabesque. This is from Jan Hicks. And I decided I'm already stitching this for my Aston Villa stitch. And can I just tell you, I am going to apologize to any Aston Villa and Clemson fans because I am the world's biggest jinx. This was awful. This past week's stitching, I did more than was called for because the teams did not give me very many stitches. I'm doing them a little bit differently with amounts of stitches. We won't even discuss the Aston Villa game. Suffice it to say, it was a complete disaster. And luckily, there is no game this week because there is the international play break. So I don't have to worry about how bad they're going to be. But I did do, this is a combination of 2 weeks worth of Aston Villa stitching as well as AB Singo. Still didn't get a lot because like I said, they're not helping me out here. They're not getting me stitching here from because they're not playing well. So here it is. This is 18 count. It's an unknown fabric. I really don't know. It didn't have a tag, so I don't know where it is. And you can see here, I did get the L and I did one of the keys. There's another key, I think, below. This is the letter O. So I did get some of that done. And then I started over here one of the times. This is the letter P. P-Q-R-S. Oh, I was going to say the T looks kind of like a P because I couldn't tell. And did some more stitching over there. These letters are surprisingly, oh, and I had to finish something I didn't have. I don't know if it was from the age. The letters are surprisingly a lot of stitches. You wouldn't think so necessarily. As you get going on them, you're like, oh, that's a letter that won't take long. No, they're beautiful, and I'm going to love them when they're done. Ooh, a bird almost flew right into the window here. But it's just, they don't know what they want to do, that bird. It's more than you realize, and deceiving. I was trying to figure out the word. I was thinking deceitful. No, it's not deceitful. It's deceiving how much there actually is in this piece. So if they play like this, then no, I won't get this one finished by the end of the season, which isn't until May. I was really hoping. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. So anyway, that was the letter A and Aston Villa stitching. Then the next letter was E. That was on the 3rd. And so I used the word I, and my gentleman Quaker has eyes. And that's the piece I pulled out. I also pulled this out for Jardin Prive because I and J are the letters for categories, and one of the prompts is a designer. And I always have a Jardin Prive going. It feels like love the patterns. So perfect. I am stitching this one with DMC Floche, Floche. I know that's one of the questions I always get, how to spell Floche. That is a one-stranded DMC. I'm stitching it with that and then a variegated hand-dyed floss. I was curious to see how the two would go. One strand of the Floche and two of the hand-dyed, and I think it looks fantastic. You cannot tell when you look at it in person. This is 18 count Benevolent Buttercup from those missing stitches. And I will stitch the lady, I don't know if it's Lady Quaker, what is it? My Lady's Quaker is also part of Jardin Prive, which I do have as well. That'll get stitched on the same fabric, and they will be a side-by-side collection in the scrapbook. I am going to put, I think I've decided here, instead of ABC, I'm going to put Mo's initials. And then on My Lady Quaker, I'll put my initials. And I am not stitching the bottom alphabet on either one of them. Well, I guess technically, would this one be considered a sampler? Possibly, I don't know. I didn't put it in there because it doesn't say the word sampler on it. What's the difference then? Like if something is a Quaker, but if it has an alphabet, is it a Quaker sampler? So many questions. I did some more here of him. I finished out this entire element. I had black stitching to do as well as the blue. I think I finished out here. All of this black stitching had to be done. I have one more blue here, but I didn't get to it. I did the blue here, and then I started, this is a flower. Yeah, so that's gonna be a flower. There is, if you did not want to do the dog, there is an alternate inside. There is an alternate charting. You can do flowers, but we love dogs here in this house, so we're definitely doing a dog over there. So that's what it looks like. And this one just comes out pretty much kind of for challenges or when I feel like it. It's a very, there's something about, oh, I forgot to put Arabesque in. Hold on a second. There's something about Jardin Prive's patterns and charting that's very relaxing and easy to stitch, I find, except for that darn pumpkin of mine. Otherwise, everything else seems to really flow nicely. And so I really do enjoy Jardin Prive, and I do like stitching them, and I do like to bring them out because of that. So you'll see them on a regular basis. Okay, next. We decided to lean into the next, oh, everything else is leaning sort of into Halloween. So if you're not a fan of Halloween, skip forward if you want to see other stuff. This is part of the Slightly Spooky series by Little Robin Designs, and I am doing October 31. This is the second time I'm trying to stitch it. I tried to do it the two colors, but with my fabric choice, that really wasn't working. So I decided to do it all black, and I love it. I love it so much. Look at that. Oh. This is an 18 count unnamed fabric from To Die For Fabrics. Now, I'm going to be a real pest. Kimberly, I have a number for it. If I reach out to you, did you keep all of those? Because this, let me show you. Or if she would know, if she sees it, because Kimberly does watch. Kimberly, do you have this in your shop? If you do, friends, if you like stitching on purple, you must buy this. It is a beautiful purple. And it's funny because if I look at this in certain lights, it's just, oops, that was a disaster. It's a light and dark purple, right? And the modeling is it's tastefully done. It's not like this, that's the wrong word, because they're all tasteful. It's slight, I should say. It's slightly done as opposed to really modeled, which I do use at points as well. And sometimes it looks like a light and a dark purple, but then other times I see it and I almost see blue, and it's just this awesome, this really fabulous, fabulous color. And it is a bit of a brighter purple as opposed to, It's not in your face crazy bright, but it's not your deep eggplant or kind of your grayish purple. It is legit purple. And I just really enjoy it. So Kimberly, let me know if that, or this may just be a one-off and I'll never be able to replicate it, but it's so much fun. And look at how that black pops. I'm enjoying it so much. This is a really easy stitch. Obviously you can see, I've got quite a bit of it done. It's paper pattern, so I don't know percentages. I have one more pumpkin to do over here. Obviously put the 31. There's like a little tree and a raven, and then the border even is quick. So this one I will definitely attempt to get done by Halloween, maybe even try to fully finish it. I would make it, it's kind of in between a leaner or a large kind of ornament. What I do with those, because I'm looking to the side because I'm looking at, I have, do you know the luminous fiber art piece where it's the little cat? So you see the cat's head coming out of the pumpkin, and I think there's like a little mouse at the bottom, and it was in a magazine and then she released it. I can't remember what it's called. That one is pretty big. So what I did was I have it right now hanging off of a hook, but I could just tuck that hanger behind and make it a leaner. So it's like a combo sort of thing. I think this one might get the same sort of treatment. I don't know what I'd put. I'd probably put black actually. So I'd show a little bit of the purple and then do a black background here. I think that'll be what works for that. So you'll see this one. I don't know if I could say on the regular, but you'll see it so that I can try to get, the goal is to get it finished by Halloween. Maybe even by October, to be honest with you. We'll see. So that one is really fun to stitch and I'm really loving it. It's probably the only one this season I'll do. I may do all of them in this purple with the black. We'll see. I kind of like it. And I kind of like the idea of the trio. So let me put that away. I have 2 more pieces to go. So this next piece here, well, it can go, there's also Spooky September, which I'm just kind of thrown in there as well because why not? And so this is part of Spooky September as well as my new start that you'll see. But I'm stitching this for the Gridiron Grind, which is a sports challenge that was created by Kim Hollenbeck. Right down. Okay, so I've got 2 Kims here. And in fact, if you like full coverage stitching and you follow Kim, or if you are not part of the Full Coverage Fanatics group on Facebook, Kim just did a video too. She had an update, and then before that, where she talks about the 2026 challenges. And I was thinking, since I want to try to finish watching the world go by, I might try to do the circumnavigate the globe challenge with that. So we'll see. I haven't really jumped in a lot of the full coverage challenges, but it might be fun to kind of do that one as a year long. So this is Witch's Hollow. It's from Autumn Lane Stitchery. If you'd like to see it finished, I'm going to direct you over to Helen D, because Helen is amazing and stitched this entire piece already. I don't remember if she's got it fully finished. I don't know. I watch so many Flosstubes, I kind of forget who does what in the end. I am using this for the Gridiron Grind. My team that I'm using it for is Clemson University. Their colors are purple and orange. So I thought, well, that's a purple, the perfect, choice, because we've got the team colors in my pattern as well. However, they didn't earn me a lot. Now, a lot of people are doing the Gridiron Grind that whatever your team gets, you multiply times, is it 10? And that's how many stitches. So, you know, if your team scored 20 points, it would be 200 stitches. I decided college sometimes, not this past week, but sometimes can be, you know, they could score 50 or 60. I really don't want a 500 or 600 stitch week. So I kind of changed it. The points are, I have a whole thing. If you want to know, feel free to ask me, but there's like the points, it's just as the points. There's certain number of stitches for wins, losses, sacks, turnovers, field goals, touchdown, the whole bit. And then I figured it out. I think I needed 110, and I did more than that this past week. I did wait to get this one digital so that I could put it into Pattern Keeper, and that goes much faster. And the entire time was nothing but white stitch. I did, well, almost nothing. I did one of the, you can't quite see the yellow yet because it's fading in, but the moon will cover it. Just moon. All I did was relentless moon. So that's where I am. I don't know who Clemson is playing this week, so we'll see what we get for stitching on that. That obviously goes to the college football season. Now, I do follow cursorily because they've been awful for the last, I don't think I could jinx them, quite frankly. But I'm a Giants fan, grew up in New England, so you were either, well, in Connecticut, you were either a Giants or a Patriots fan, usually. Oh, no, I take that back. There are some Jets fans as well. The Giants have just been, I don't know if I want to use the word hapless the last few years. So I don't have a pattern stitched, picked for that because honestly, I'm not sure how much I will watch and or follow the games, but we'll see. If we do watch, I know Mo said, I think it's going to be on potentially on TV. We're in the mid-Atlantic and they don't show, I mean, the Giants play technically in New Jersey, right? Isn't that where the Meadowlands is? But they don't show them here very often in Delaware. It's not the games that are the ones they show. But I think they might be on this weekend. So if we do watch, maybe I'll pick a piece. I don't have a lot of hope. So we'll see. But because I am a Giants fan, I truly dislike the Cowboys. So yay, Eagles. Good job, Eagles. You won last night. You beat the Cowboys. Anytime the Cowboys get beat, we are happy as Giants fans. Alrighty. The last piece is a start that I started with Mary from Mary's Stitching Corner. Mary and I have really fallen in love with a lot of these Blueberry Ridge designs. I'm stitching the autumn piece. Mary has finished it, and both of us plan on stitching all of the seasons. We started the Christmas one together, and Christmas in July. We're starting this one. I don't think Mary bought it, neither did I, but this past Marketplace, Thanksgiving came out, which is so cute. So I know we'll both probably end up stitching that as well. But one at a time. Well, maybe multiples at a time. So anyway, we decided to start this one. And I showed you, I think there was 3 different fabrics I showed you. I'm going to be honest, I didn't choose any of them. I had one that it didn't have this kind of brightness in it, but it was kind of a brownish tone. And I was convinced I was going to use that one after I talked to you and showed you. And then I am using like a deep purple eggplant from Stitchy Stuff Co. I think it's called dark, let me see what it's called. Black Cherry. And the more I looked at it, I was like, I don't know, because this is actually in a black that it's stitched on. And I thought, I don't know if that'll work. So then I thought, okay, maybe I'll go with the gray. But the gray, I really wanted to tie in with purple. And so I went through my grays and I found this one. Look at this. And it's got a lot of gray tones, but some of the modeling, it almost looks like a purplish base, but I don't know. I can't even tell you. It is from Grace Notes Fabrics. This is the first time I think I've stitched on Grace Notes, I think. Now, I'm not going to be able to say this right. I'm using the word maestro. Karen, I need your help right now. My musical instrumental friend. But it's not that. It's maestosa. I have no idea. Let me put it up to you. So that's what it's called. It's from Grace Notes Fabrics. It's beautiful. I mean, look at this. Look at this. And I saw this. I threw my black cherry on there. And I said, yep, this is it. So that's the stitching. Mary and I started it yesterday. And that's my stitching. And I love it. I love the look. I'm so happy with my choice. I think it'll look really cool when it's completely done. I am doing the entire piece, including the words. Now this one's called Sampler Holidays Halloween. So I did put it as part of my sampler September because it's called a sampler. So I'm running with it. So right now I have 2 samplers stitched for the month and we'll just keep going. This also goes under Spooky September, of course, because it's Halloween. I think I'd like to do some more of this coming week. We'll see. It would be sure nice if I pick a, P would work for pumpkin, but I have a couple other autumn pieces I was thinking to do for P for pumpkin. So much fun stitching. Oh, don't know what I'm doing. But you might see this one next week. We'll see. But I do want to get some of those other ones kind of pulled along as well. But I'm really enjoying this. I do have the paper. I know Mary has the digital, and it did not go into Pattern Keeper, although the digital Christmas did. So if anybody knows of any tricks or whatever, if some of the Blueberry Ridge, or does Blueberry Ridge design for Pattern Keeper? If you know, let us know. I have the paper. I thought about buying again the digital, but if it's not going to go in Pattern Keeper, then obviously I definitely won't. You know, the paper's all right. It's just, and I get the size of it. It's not abnormally small. It's a tiny bit small for my eyes, these 55-year-old eyes. So, and I don't use any sort of magnifying. I suppose I could, so, you know, that is it. Those are my pieces. My plans this week. This week. I'd like to start an owl for Jen. And I think it's going to be the Little Prairie Schooler owl. So hopefully you'll see that. And it's small. I don't think I could get it done in a week. I don't think it's a start and a finish sort of week. But I think in a couple weeks, by the end of the month, I could have that one finished. And then monthly challenges. So we've, you know, the Whip into Shape. We'll have Clemson. Aston Villa will be coming back. Hopefully they'll be better. Yes, the acrostics, Crafts and Books, Magazine Monthly, Samplers, Spooky. This weekend is the focus event for Whip Warriors, and I am doing Black Roses, so you will see that next week. So just lots of fun and great stuff there. So that's it with that. Happy Mail, I did get a couple fun things. You know that when we have an open artist trading card swap, when trading cards come in, I now start to announce to the person, I say who I've received from. So this way, you know, this is how you listen to hear if I've received it. If you don't hear me say your name, that means somehow or other I have not received it. We have a current one going. If you go back a few videos, there's an extra that gives you the theme and the dates. And Paula, you were the very first. I was shocked when it came in. I love what you did. Awesome job. So we have our first trading card in for the autumn 2025 swap. Yay. So thank you, Paula. Thank you for participating. And then I got a lovely little package from Teresa. Thank you so much. There's some fun. I just want to show you a few because one you'll have seen before. The others I've never seen. This fun, she of course knows where I live, and in Delaware and the beach, and she knows I love all that. This one is from Rivaris, I think it is. Happiness is Walking on the Beach. I love that. And then she found some Delaware ones. Two of them are from Oberlin Samplers. Ooh, I guess I would make them a sampler. I don't think I'll start them this month, but they're so much fun. This one, if you look, it says the word Delaware. And then it has different, different things. You know, we have the blue hen over there and different Delaware things. And this is fun. This is a handwritten chart. It looks like it's hand. Certainly all the symbols. Ooh, there's a lot of blends on this. Oh, man. And it's a handwritten chart. But it looks like it's not too bad. It's called Delaware Word Graphic. And then also from Oberlin Samplers. What's this one called? Does it say? It doesn't say on the back where I can see it. And if you see, it says welcome. And this is Fenwick Lighthouse. So Fenwick is in the southern part of Delaware. And then this is a very small one. Who's this by? I can't. It doesn't quite say. But it is also kind of like Delaware, the first state. And you can see all of the fun little Delaware things. So that would be so much fun to either stitch as or also to pull things out, which you know I love doing as well. So that's kind of fun. So, and then there was one that I can't show you because it's just the pattern, but it has to do with beaches. So Teresa, thank you. That was really lovely of you. I appreciated all of that, and I appreciated your note. I hope you're doing well. I'm thinking about you. And then I did get, okay, are you ready? We have, oh, it's good and stiff white Aida fabric. Do you see the big giant yard? there's a reason why I bought this big giant piece. Remember last week how I was talking about the Pain-Free Crafts piece? Well, Heather, the 20-minute stitcher, Heather, you came back and then you had to talk about it and said you'd do it with me, and I am very easily persuaded. This pen, for some reason, my pen after a while just says, I'm tired. I don't want to do any more for you. Heather's the 20-minute stitcher, and she's back. Yay, I'm so excited that you're back. I love your stitching. And she saw me show this, and then she's reached out and said, I'll stitch that, even though I'm not even a full coverage stitcher. So it's something like the 6 portals from Rose Catherine Kahn. Pain-Free Crafts has charted them. This is the Autumn Hollow, and I think I called it Autumn Realm. Heather and I are going to start this on the first day of autumn. So if you'd like to join us, please do. I'm so excited. I love the colors. It's so neat. Let me bring it up as close as possible. It is huge lengthwise. Widthwise, so it's 202 by 800. 800. I am doing it on 18 count. Yes, I know you're going to think I'm very, just out of my mind. So the 200, it won't be, it'll be 11 inches or so. I don't know exactly, 11, 12 inches, whatever widthwise. But it's going to be almost 4 feet tall. I don't remember the exact amount. So this may be a start, never finish, but I figure it's narrow. So hopefully we can at least see progress going. We'll see. I mean, honestly, because it's so narrow, even though it's so long, I don't know if it's much more stitch count, a bigger stitch count than some of my biggest full coverage pieces that might be like 400 by 400. Do you know what I mean? It's probably about the same. It's just really long. So, yes, we are starting that, and that was my other purchase as well. So, come join us if you'd like. Okay, so that's it for shopping. Other than that, we just have life stuff. So if you don't care about that, then thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Not a lot. Life was, it's been beautiful here, wonderful weather. Today and tomorrow are supposed to be a little bit warmer, and then I think rain's coming through and it's going to be back in the 70s. We've had 70s and sun, and it's just beautiful, beautiful weather. I've, kind of run out and done stuff here and there. We did our beach little trip on Sunday morning. I've done a couple Zooms this week. And then I met, so exciting, I do want to say hi, Beth. I met Beth, who is a stitcher down here in Southern Delaware. She's just, not been down here super long. And she doesn't live, she lives the next town over for me. So I'm so excited. We met and had like a little lunch, and I so enjoyed that, getting to meet you and to know you. And I have a stitchy friend down here now that's in person. I'm so excited. Not that I don't have other stitchy friends in Delaware, but to be so close, that will be so nice and fun. So I can't wait to get together. We're going to try to get together and stitch together. And one of these times we'll go over to Federal Beverage. So I'll let you know if I know in advance when that is. If I don't, then, but one of these times I think Gail is the owner of Federal Beverage, and she has definitely said she would like to make this a place that people enjoy coming to and hanging out with. So she is all on board with letting us stitch there. So I'll let you know if we do that. So Beth, I so enjoyed meeting you, and I can't wait to stitch with you. All right. So the only other thing I have, I'm sort of listening to my book right now. I didn't do any reading of books, but I did watch Thursday Murder Club, and I had talked about that last week that I was going to watch it. And I think I watched it, I don't know if it's Friday afternoon or it might have been Saturday. I don't remember. I watched it actually on my iPad because I have Netflix on my iPad, but I want to watch it on the big screen. And Mo said he'll watch it again, so I definitely want to watch it again. I really, really enjoyed it. If you've not read the books and you see, we have Pierce Brosnan and Ben Kingsley and Helen Mirren, and I I always forget the other woman, and I know who she is. And plus then some other assisting roles of, I know I recognize that. So you're thinking this is going to be this blockbuster, murder movie. It is, the book, if you've not read it, the book is a very kind of cozy sort of book. It's a very enjoyable, pleasant book, but it's not an edge of your seat, fly by your pants kind of book, right? It's just a pleasant afternoon, pleasant kind of reading. That's what the movie is. It's a pleasant afternoon. That's where I wanted to do it. It's a 2-hour movie that they made out of it. I thought they did the story quite well, because there's a lot to kind of pack in. And I feel like they packed in a good amount. The story felt complete from the beginning to end. I wasn't sure about Pierce Brosnan doing that character, but I think maybe the first few scenes I wasn't used to it, but by the end he kind of grew into it and kind of won me over. So I enjoyed the entire cast, and I just thought it was a very pleasant, lovely movie. I've seen people criticize it that it's not like this blockbuster, but that means you've not read the book, because the book is not a blockbuster. It follows kind of that same idea, and quite frankly, that's where I would like to move to when I am in my 70s and 80s, because where they live is nicer than my house, frankly. And I think Elizabeth, if you read the book, her character's kitchen is bigger than my kitchen. So that was the only thing I didn't envision. Kind of, I was way off what their places looked like compared to what the movie portrayed them as. But I enjoyed it. I can't wait to watch it again. And I feel like that would be like a comfort sort of movie when you want something in the background and you just kind of want to watch. I thought it was really pleasant and lovely. So I would recommend it if you're thinking about watching it. It is on Netflix. All right, so that's about it. That's all I have. I'm going to try to scoot out of here a little faster than last week. Uploading took about 6 hours last week, so we'll see what happens this week. But as always, I am so grateful for each and every one of you for being here. And I do want you to remember on the flip side that you are important and you matter. You are special and wonderful, and your voice matters. You matter. You are just so, so important. And I want you to always remember that and try to keep that with you, even if outside forces or people or things try to make you feel like you don't. You most definitely do. All right, until next time, happy stitching.